And we are now live. Let's give everybody a few minutes to join us. First of all, thank you for those who are getting ready to tune in, and also for those who are watching the replay. Make sure to like and subscribe. I put both of our Instagrams at the bottom in the scroll here, but I am very, very excited to introduce Only One Kenobi, the one and only. He is a megastar on YouTube.
Obi,
how you doing,
the
man?
one and Obi.
The one and only one.
No, the one and Obi. One W-A-N. That's like a little catchphrase. Yes. I started a while ago.
Well, we're starting to get some people to trickle in. Let's give it a couple minutes. So, Nick, how was your holiday?
Awesome, man. Really good. Just missing the usual sort of things when you gather with mates and stuff like that, go to the pub and things like that haven't happened, but that doesn't matter. I've still seen family and eating the usual ridiculous amount of food. Like I said to you just then backstage, I really want to do some fitness, man. Get into some running or something, man. I feel like I'm getting flabby here, John.
Well, it's a constant battle. The older I get, the more difficult it is to stay as lean and as good looking as I do right now.
It's like you said, you go to the gym or whatever. I used to go to the gym quite a lot when I lived in London, and I had a membership and stuff, and I felt, better. But now I'm feeling bloated, I need to get going, get motivated.
Well, you look great to me. You look great to me.
Thank you, John.
Well, we've got 9 folks watching now, so I think that we should go ahead and get started. Like I mentioned, I'm very excited to have Nick, Only One Kenobi, the famous YouTuber, on the channel, and I really appreciate you joining us today. We're going to try and go about 45 minutes to an hour, but for those watching, feel free to ask questions, and we can kind of fit them in as they are topical. But first of all, Only One, please give us a little background about you. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got started collecting.
Well, I was watching back. I saw your thing with Bossk Bounty. Was it a couple of weeks ago now? And I thought I'd watch that again just to sort of get a flavor of what you might ask me. And yeah, you asked him that. And my background is, obviously, I am a child of the 80s. So I used to have, the vintage stuff, the stuff of the 80s. But I was, born in 1981. So I got the tail end of the Return of the Jedi stuff. But I have that memory of seeing vintage cards in shops. So I've got that link with it. And that's why I have what I have behind me. But I'd say around 97, I picked up a few things loose for the special edition era, Power of the Force 2. But a lot of that was, I didn't really get into it heavily because at that age, you kind of think, well, you don't buy toys anymore at that age. It was like 16 or whatever. And, you're growing up or whatever. Look at me now, I'm 39. Constantly buying toys. But anyway, so I got a few Phantom Menace things when I was 18. And then collecting I didn't buy anything until, say, I think I just moved back from Spain. It was 2011. And I got back to the UK and I saw stuff swinging on pegs. Like, you could see the quality had really improved. So this is me being a loose collector here. And I got a lot of I think it was the Legacy, not the Legacy collection, what's the other one called? Not Movie
Saga?
Legends, I think. Saga Heroes, all that stuff. There were some good figures in there. About 2015, I got a few figures from the Vintage Collection to open. And I looked at them and I thought, wow, I really like them. I'm going to leave them. Maybe get 1 or 2. My plan originally was to get 1 card back for every film, like 1 Star Wars, 1 Empire Strikes Back, 1 Return of the Jedi, 1 Clone Wars, 1 Phantom Menace. And I got the lot, man. I've got everything now. And loads of variants. And but I don't collect 80s stuff. I strictly collect the modern because, the card backs are reminiscent of the past and the figures inside are just top quality. So that's me pretty much as a collector.
And so do you focus solely on the vintage collection, or do you do some Black Series? I know you got a few retro collection.
I do. I like the retro collection, obviously, because of that link to the past as well. Although I do find that maybe a few of the slots are getting taken up by the retro collection now. The Mando wave coming up. I would have preferred to see a modern Queel, for example. But I did get a few 6-inch figures. But when the 6-inch line arrived, I was really surprised. There was a lot of YouTubers that I followed, flyguy.net. guys like that who were really into the vintage collection, and they got me into it basically via their reviews around 2012. And it was amazing to see how quickly they switched their allegiance to 6-inch. And I didn't really ever feel compelled because I had, by that time I'd amassed a nice, load of figures. And I thought, well, why would I want to spend my money rebuying it all again? Because I want to continue in one scale. And I have tried having two side by side, and I don't like it. I like having one scale in my collection in my loose room anyway. But I have got a few 6-inch figures, but the longer I go, the more I realize I just don't want to go there. I want to stick with the so-called legacy scale. And don't forget, the quality. I feel like I'm selling you the stuff here. I'm working for Hasbro. So the quality is there. Look at the quality. The quality is there, though. That's the thing. It is amazing. Oh, wow. Look at that. Snap.
Twinsies.
Yeah. But yeah, he's coming up next. I'm going to open him soon for my series. But the quality is phenomenal. I'm so glad the Vintage Collection came back in 2018 because there was a quality dip. They were doing 5 POA, and I'll never forget Victoria's Cantina around 2013 did a video talking about the noticeable dip in the actual quality of the molds of the figures. Were dreadful for a period, but it's back now. So good. And that's the way I want to go.
Yeah, well, talk a little bit. I've seen so many of your videos, and first of all, you're a very prolific YouTuber. I don't know where you find the time to put out such high quality and such numerous videos. It's awesome for subscribers like me who just like to learn about the vintage collection. And because I'm fairly new, I blame you. I blame Boss Bounty. I blame Blacked Out Ewoks also. And I saw y'all's vintage collection videos, and I just thought they were such gorgeous cards. And during lockdown, it was a great alternative for me to kind of still collect without breaking the bank, so to speak. And so I want to touch on your loose room. Your loose collection is crazy. I mean, what possessed you to have one room only for loose figures, and then one room like behind you where it's all mint on card? What was the thought process?
Well, so what happened there was when I amassed that collection in 2015, I started buying carded stuff, and then the problem became that I used to see a few reviewers who had like boxes behind them, and they were full of figures, and I thought, well, that's not how you should. If you've got figures, let them be on display. But I was turning
let them breathe.
Well, yeah, I was turning into that person as well. I did have my carded collection up in my old place, but I was starting to amass all these boxes of stuff, and I thought, well, this isn't what I want. I want to have that, on display as well. So I moved to this place, which has got a few spare rooms. I've got the carded room, then I've got another room down the way, the loose room, and I'm really pleased to just finally have it all out, because I'm both a carded collector and loose.
Well, and so I want to dig in a little bit on the carded side now. I think that where I really am mad at you is you started showing different card back variations, the Canadian card, US card, the tri-logo European card, and all the different options and how the packaging changes across them. What made you start wanting to get kind of these multiple card back variations? And now I'm doing it, of course.
You'll probably understand this because when you're a collector and you've finished everything, you then you look for gaps, don't you, naturally, when you're waiting for the new product anyway. There is new product coming out, but it's been few and far between. I never thought I'd do it, but I got recently the variant card for Grievous unpunched from the US.
Oh.
I managed to snag the silver card chase for like a tenner on eBay in 2016, which is an absolute bargain. And I thought, well, that's it now. I've done that one. What is it? VC23. That's in the bag. But then, I don't know, you'd start to think, well, I want the other one. And I'm looking at them, they're just opposite me now. I've got both Codys. They look great. I'll go and grab them for you, man.
All right, great.
Side by side.
Eye candy. We need eye candy. Other than the two of us, we need more eye candy. So that's perfect.
Yeah. The thing about the silver one is sometimes when the light doesn't catch it right, they look dull and horrible. And I knew that this card back Cody was brighter or whatever, and they look nice side by side. They complement each other. But I still will never forgive myself for not buying. There was an unpunched one of these on eBay for, I think it was 50 quid at the time, or maybe It might have been 60, which to me, I thought, I don't want to pay that because that's way more than it would have been, 2015, 16. So I turned my nose up at it. But look at the price of Cody now. He's like 100 and something. It's ridiculous. So I should have. So I want to do a video about that, John, at some point. I want to do a video, Nightmare Stories. I was going to do it with BOE, what the biggest regrets of what we haven't done, what we should have done. But, everybody's lives will be littered with that if you're a collector.
well, I mean, there's always coulda, shoulda, wouldas, and that was going to be my next question. Is just, you talked about one that you should have bought, but you didn't. Have you ever gotten rid of anything that you wish you hadn't? Or do you just collect and never get rid of anything?
I've only ever sold at this point in my life, career, whatever, I've collected. I've only ever sold duplicates. There's nothing I've sold that I regret. I've kept hold of everything that is, because it's only ever been duplicates. I've not sold anything. No. That's a good question, John. Very good question. The stuff I've opened that I've regretted, or not bought, but nothing that I have sold.
Well, C. Moles asked a great question here. He talked about the fact that the 6-inch Black Series line, 2.5 inch, I'm not sure what he's referring to there, but he says that they're taking precedence. And this is something I talked to Boss Bounty about. It seems to me that the Black Series line seems to get the first waves of new characters like Bo-Katan, things like that. And, maybe it's an economics issue. They make more, Tim mentioned that he thinks that the Black Series figures make more money for Hasbro, so that's why. But it just seems like there's a lack of urgency from Hasbro to announce, other than repacks, a lot of the time. It just, there's not enough of these new releases. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on that and take that wherever you will.
Yeah, it's a good thing that he and others are making a lot of noise now to remind them that we are here and we want that product. I also watched back and I noticed he said that, and I couldn't believe this, it costs the same amount of money maybe to produce a 3 3/4 inch as it does a Black Series. Whereas I thought maybe, well, I don't know. I thought with articulation, anything was more difficult. So that's why they did the whole 5 POA thing. But there was a period when it looked like they were trying to wipe it out almost, because when you go in head to head with the Black Series, you've got this price here for Black Series, and they're trying to sell you a 3 3/4 inch product at the same price or whatever, maybe just a marginally cheaper, or get a 5 POA considerably cheaper at 3 3/4 inch. People, grannies or whoever in the supermarket are going to go for the cheaper whatever, or 6-inch, and then in the middle you've got the quality articulated vintage collection that's just going to fall by the wayside. And I think it almost got wiped out, or they were trying to maybe phase it out. I really do. I don't know. So,
well, yeah, maybe there was an attempt, who knows, of Hasbro ideally to phase out the 3 3/4 inch, but I don't know. I guess my question is there a way for Hasbro to figure out a new retail model that would allow for more and wider distribution of new figures in the 3 3/4 inch scale that would meet their profitability needs, meet their investor needs, but also satisfy the investor folks?
Well, that's it. You see, it's all supply and demand, isn't it? And I was personally worried. I don't know what the official statistics are now, but I was worried that there was no demand for 3 3/4 inch. And then that's why 6-inch was just moving forward, because like I said about people like Fly Guy, they seem happy enough just to think, well, I'm done now with 3 3/4 inch. This is where I want to be, 6-inch. And I thought that we were a dying breed, people like me and others, because it's all about supply and demand, isn't it? And there's no doubt the quality is there, a 6-inch. It's fun. They are fantastic figures. They are really, really good. But like I said before, you can get that really top quality in the smaller scale as well. So, in answer to your question with the retail model, whatever, it's just, I'm hoping now more than ever, they will know that there is still a strong demand for classic scale. Razor pressings are massive.
Yeah, I mean, this is anecdotal evidence, but for leading up to Christmas, let's call it the 3 weeks leading up to Christmas, I would go to Target and Walmart. They're both right next to each other, like 30 seconds away. I checked every single day for about, let's call it 3 weeks, to try and find a few gifts for my son. And
Yeah.
the Black Series were there, you know, in limited numbers, but the TVC would sell out immediately. And I don't know if it's scalpers just grabbing them all or what, but it, you know, to me, it seems like the demand is there for at the retail channel level to push more out, you know, instead of just either going direct through Hasbro or going to the specialty retailers like Entertainment Earth.
Well, that's what I do now. I go straight online. I buy the whole wave. I don't want to mess around, and then that's it. And I do miss out on the chase there. I don't manage to, you know, because you can't beat that thrill of going in a place and seeing stuff. But I can't really comment really on what's got what because of the lockdown. I've not really been out to see what's where. You know, if I did go to Forbidden Planet, I can guarantee I would see both Black Series and 3 3/4 inch. But as far as a regular supermarket is concerned now, I never see Star Wars. Nothing. No figures. You won't see any Black Series in a Sainsbury's, a Tesco. You might have around about the time of The Force Awakens and stuff like that, but that is completely dead. I don't even know if they've got any Star Wars product, not even a lightsaber in some of these places. It's just not there. The other issue of demand for toys, you know, is that still there? You know, people are arguing this case of, you know, computer games, online activity, but I still think a kid could be sold on the idea of having something physical in their hand. You know, it's real. And if they love the product, like we're hoping The Mandalorian is getting over, that will bring some more enthusiasm to plastic hobby, you know, collecting.
Yeah. Well, you know, and on that note, I mean, let's kind of lean in a little bit now. You mentioned The Mandalorian. We got the retro wave of The Mandalorian coming out. Chris asked this, and I'd be curious on your thoughts. I'm going to exclude repacks, obviously, but what are you most excited
that question. Oh, it's an easy answer. Oh my God, the Razor Crest. I can't wait all year to just go. Well, I don't want there to be any time between now and then.
Yeah, I mean, the Razor Crest is really cool, but you know, I think there's a space issue for someone like me. I just don't have the space for it. If you're looking at the retail product, or you know, even like the store exclusives, it just seems like we got the repack wave coming in March with the Padme. And, things.
And that's questionable.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's maybe a little bit too early to see what 2021 holds, but
yeah, that was a really strange line for them to wave. I'm sorry, to introduce. I still can't understand why they've gone for those figures. I mean, we've had the 20th anniversary of Phantom Menace. Why them? I still can't get over that. I did a video about it, and it's like I don't really want to be a ranter, but in that one I was really scratching my head. So it's Padme, it's Anakin in it, peasant. The TIE Fighter, I reckon that's pretty cool. And for me as a card collector, well, then can you see my TIE Fighters there? I've got all variants of that. Oh, yeah, sorry, John. There you go. Revenge, Return, Aliens. So I'll add another one on the line, and it's a good figure. That's understandable. But apart from that, I really think there are others that could have been introduced. Ones that really, you know, break your bank for on the second, like the Weak Way here, something like that, man. You know, ones that are really hard to get, maybe. Crazy.
Yeah, and with the Jabba sail barge, I mean, even the TIE Fighter. I mean, even the TIE Fighter palette should have been released on an Empire Strikes Back card. No, I mean, you know, it seems like we already have the Jedi card. So.
Yeah, I've been quite vocal about that as well. I could never understand why sometimes they mix up the movie badges and they don't seize their opportunity to give you something that we have missed. For example, C-3PO, I've always talked about that as well. You've had him so many times. Can you see him? Oh, there he is. He's right above. That's so hard to do, John. So you've had him on an Empire Strikes Back card, but they've missed their chance there to give you the New Hope card back. It's crazy. See, either they don't know it, or they can't be bothered doing anything about it, or their hands are tied and they can't do it, or I have no idea why they wouldn't explore that.
I'll be curious to see
meeting for them to not do it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see whether we start seeing maybe like you know, one idea I had, and maybe you guys have talked about this and I just didn't see it, but you know, with Luke finishing up the last episode of season 2 in The Mandalorian. Do we see an early retro collection Luke on a Mandalorian card back? I mean, I think
that would be really cool. Yeah. In fact, you know, just speaking of the retro, I see D. Thompson has just mentioned Asda, and yet you must forgive me. I did say that not many supermarkets have stuff, but Asda, which is part of the Walmart family, they have figures, you do get the retro collection there. I managed to get the whole wave of retros from an Asda about a year, maybe a year ago now.
Yeah, it's fascinating because we have Asda. Yeah, I mean, we have Asda, but we had nothing there. I mean, it's but it's like Walmart, Target, and for the the store exclusives. That's really all we have here. But I mean, you talk to somebody like in the middle of the U.S., like in Texas.
Yeah,
they show photos, they show videos of them toy hunting, and it's like a wall of figures. And then here, where I am in Tennessee, there's nothing. It's just mind blowing how the distribution
of your country being so vast, isn't it? I guess you've got that massive like regional thing.
It's just the distribution channels seem very broken to me, at least in the US.
Yeah,
but
I get a lot of people in my comments saying, how did you get that, and how did you get it? I can't get it and stuff. And I go online. I often ask, well, where are you? Firstly, in the world, are you America or Europe or wherever? Because obviously, I used to buy a lot of Dorkside toys. Would you believe it?
I did too. Oh, I see.
Because obviously we've got Star Action figures. We've got loads of alternatives, but it's only because I used to watch American reviewers and they used to talk about Dorkside. And I think, to be honest, it kind of sometimes balances out to be the same price. When if you don't get stung in customs, you can get stuff for about the same price as you would over here. But,
yeah, Dorkside is actually 20 minutes from my house. And
oh, really? No.
Yeah, they're very close, and I want to support them. But for whatever reason, they seem to have real logistical issues with getting new supply. If I'll pre-order something from them and it's 2 months after even like Big Bad Toy Store, for example, has already got it in stock, they still haven't gotten it. And so I finally had to stop using them just because they never get any new product, or it's like 6 months later. But yeah, they are local, and
they've been fantastic with me. There was one issue with them a while ago, and it was 2017. There was no vintage collection on the horizon then, but I bought that wave of 6-inch on the vintage cards with them, and then I bought the second wave of that which I think it's 3PO and Chewie in that wave, and that never turned up. Cancel it, but that wasn't their fault. That was just the distribution. They were having trouble getting stuff. So, but it's funny, isn't it? I was buying 6-inch then only because I wanted to buy something, and it was sort of reminiscent of this, but it wasn't what I wanted. So it's quite a blessing.
No, this is exactly what happened to me. I mean, I wanted to collect something, but my job was non-existent for about 5 months. My wife was furloughed, and I had like $500 in credit card points. So it's either use it wisely, like my family probably would have liked me to, on groceries and gas money, or I can blow it on action figures, in retail establishments. So you can guess what I did,
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, GeForce Racing. He mentions I've had better luck with Big Bad Toy Store. Me too. I just got notification that the Rogue One Vader wave with Rex and armor and all of that, they got those in already, and mine should be here tomorrow or the next day. So collector grade. I mean, I really like Big Bad Toy Store. They do a good job, at least in the US. So
yeah, cool, man. I've got that. Well, I've got a second lot of that wave coming up. I needed to rebuy it. I wanted to open some of those figures, like the Gideon. So and I needed to get another Vader. You heard about my Vader, right?
Oh man, yeah, I saw that.
They were awesome. That was Star Action figures. They refunded me that Vader.
They
were amazing. So it was awesome. Great. So yeah, but
we got another question here. Here that we'll touch on, and this is a good one. This is one that I fear I know the answer to, but Chris, who is a buddy of mine and watches both of our channels and Boss Bounty and others, he said, I recently got into the TVC line thanks to AFG, but is there an end in sight on this line? And you kind of touched on that, but how much longer can it go? And I think with the new Disney show announcements, it seems like that's ripe for refreshing, even into 2022, 2023 with Return of the Jedi. What are your thoughts there?
Well, it would be, they did have a breather on it, and at that point it seemed like maybe it would never come back. But if they were to say, I don't think they can stop now. They've got so much stuff coming out. They need to keep pumping it out. There'll always be people buying it. But my concern is, where in the queue are things like Bib Fortuna, Lobot, AT-AT Driver, really iconic carbacks that should have been done already in here. and we're still waiting for them, and it's really frustrating. We have got a lot of stuff that I have asked for many years. I started my channel to do that, to talk about what we should and could have. Jawa was one of them, the classic R2. We're getting the Blue Sky Fett. So they are doing stuff, but it's just there's still a couple that are like real head scratches, like Dooku. But you know, he might turn up next year or the year after. You just never know.
Yeah.
I remember Tim was saying they might not want to do it because some people might sign off, which is quite an interesting point he made. Once they get the last, what was it, the first 12 or whatever, or I can't remember, did he say the last 17? I can't remember. The original ones, once they're done, people might walk away from it. But I don't know. I think that once you're in it, you're gonna want to get the other stuff. Even the Mandalorian's popular. Some of the old.
Well, that leads. Thank you for mentioning Mandalorian. That leads into my next question. And I asked Tim this, but I'd be curious on your thoughts. You know, obviously Hasbro dipped their toes very carefully into Mandalorian-related VC items because you know there's risks there, right? They didn't want it to end up like the Rise of Skywalker figures, peg warmers. What do you think Hasbro does as these new Disney shows actually come out, as they roll out towards the end of next year? Do you foresee them preemptively striking, so to speak, with main characters, VC cards right as the show launches, or do they wait to see if it catches fire like Mandalorian did?
Well, that's a really good question because it's true. That's what they would have done with the Rise of Skywalker. They saw the the terrible sales after the Last Jedi. That bomb, that consequently, that Solo was a casualty of that. So that there's no doubt that they probably held back for the Rise of Skywalker, but it did give you a fair few cards just before the film came out, though. So you had to probably buy them before you knew what it was like or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know. It's like, what did we get for the Mandalorian? We got it all after the show, didn't we? I remember being excited for the show, and you got a sense it was going to be good. But I think, you know, we're all over it now. Everybody wants it. So I don't know, man. They might be cautious, or they might think, well, because some of these are spin-offs of it anyway, they could easily put out a new Ahsoka or a Boba Fett, you know, the Nomad. You know, that would be hell straight away. So they've got an inside scoop, haven't they?
I mean, I hope that they launch. I hope they launch a little faster and a little more plentiful with just like say main characters. You know, whatever they're promoting for the teaser trailers for the launch episode. You know, I would hope that they could. It didn't have to be right at launch, but it would be nice if they could at least have it within a month or two of launch. You know, some of the main characters on TVC cards. It would just be really.
But there's so much stuff.
This is another good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sorry to interrupt you. This is a great question about GeForce. Do you think the Marvel, like the Marvel line, will hamper Hasbro's production quality? Maybe not quality, but numbers. Are they spreading things too thin? I think that's a great question.
Yeah. Yeah, there's every possibility. You mean stretching themselves over so many different varieties of programming? Well, I mean, they are interlinked, aren't they? You know, they are linked one way or another. But yeah, it's very diverse. You're going to get loads of different card labels, probably. I don't know how they're going to do it, John. It's really hard to know, and we don't know what the programs are going to be like. I hope the quality, but first and foremost, of the programs are good. You know, I'd hate that to dip because at the minute we're cooking on gas. And it's good, and as even a Star Wars fan, regardless of this collecting thing. I just want to watch some good stuff that doesn't make me cringe, you know. Like I was, I
mean, it's a concern. It's a concern, though. I mean, you know, are they doing a shotgun approach with all these TV shows, and then the quality suffers? I don't know the answer, but it's something to at least be concerned about. So,
it would be nice though if they continue to integrate into those waves. You know. A mix of everything. I'd like to see some mixed waves, you know. Drop us a Rogue One character, like I want to see Blue Leader. Mix it up. Get a mixed wave out there. Some other Mando characters. Queel. Something we're missing from, you know, whatever. That would be really good. The variety. No peg warmers.
I want to talk to you briefly now that we got a nice lull here. I want to ask you about your YouTube channel. What possessed you to start it? Why? You know, what drove you to do it? How did you grow the channel into kind of the powerhouse it is today? Because I love learning from folks like you guys who put out quality content consistently, and I just like to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, I never thought I would do what I do now, which is I review everything. Well, not everything. I don't review 6-inch, but I review figures. I never thought I would do that. I started my channel to talk about what we were missing. And it's quite ironic that here we are. I started in June 2017, and there's still a hell of a lot of stuff that I had on my list back then that is yet to come. And I've really got my fingers crossed it does come. But that's why I started my channel, as a speculator, the future of the vintage collection, you know. And a lot of those videos are quite sort of rough and ready at the beginning. And then I did a series called the TVC Quick Shot, not the Quick Shots, the Wish List series, which I spent a lot of time editing them. And they've had hardly any views. It's crazy. When I look back at those videos, I spent hours doing them. Literally hours doing them in a kind of a Star Wars theory style, you know, blending footage from the films, shots of my figures spinning, and a voiceover on top of that. A lot of production, but then that got me a lot of people following me or whatever. But that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to talk about what I wanted, you know, and then people jumped on board because they felt the same. Catchphrases.
Well, I like your.
And we'll see you on the next one. Who says that, John?
What's that?
We'll see you on the next one.
We'll see you on the next one. That's right. That's right. I don't know what it is about your videos though. I find them, you have, not all of them, but a lot of them have like kind of an offbeat quality to them that I gravitate to. If you know me by now, you know that I can't take it too seriously, right? We are talking plastic dolls, but I think your sense of humor shines through with your emojis and things like that. I don't know. It's a certain style that you have that is so unique that I just love to see. So.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to be too serious about it. And a lot of them, I just will whip them together very quickly and I'll stick with it. I mean, it's funny, a while ago when I did a video, sometimes you could do it in one or it'd take you like 20. But now I've just been doing it in one because a lot of people just find it quite funny how I spontaneously say stuff. So I just go with that, man. But
oh, no, exactly. That's what I love. Don't change that part. It's the spontaneity of yours. I don't know. I have stuff that comes out of my mouth that I'm like, ooh, I can't say that. No, that's too much. Too much.
Yeah. Well, I did a video on Luke, Stormtrooper, and then I went off on this tangent, and I haven't edited this one yet, but I went off on a tangent, kind of ranting about the card back for the Han Solo, which is really, really diabolical. You know, the Luke one is really good. He's off the wall now. But what happened to the Han? And I think I used a little bit of bad language, John. So I might have gone a bit too far.
A little much.
But maybe, I don't know. But I'm kind of speaking from the heart on that, you know. At the end of the day, it's only a figure, like you say, but it's just sometimes I think to myself, how would I be if I met some of these people in real life, like the Hasbro? I wouldn't be rude, but I've got like a list of questions I would ask them that some people just don't do it. You see these like panels, and I know everyone has to be professional and you don't want to be in their face and be aggressive. Certainly not. But there's certain things that I just want to know. Why did that happen? Why did you do that? You know, who's making the decisions? It's amazing.
Okay. All right. So Nick, all right, on that note, you brought it up. Let's say you had the Hasbro folks that were in charge of product planning for the next 2 years. What would be the first question that you would ask them?
Well, it can't be where the hell is my Blue Sky Fett, because he's coming, isn't he? He's coming. That's in the bag, so I'll be shaking the hand. Thank you very much. Well, I really don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm trying to ask them.
We talked about a lot of it already, like certain things, like it's on a lot of our minds. The Padme way, for example. Mm-hmm. You know, is that happening? Why aren't you filling that with something new? But then again, we know the answers to that. Sometimes it's cheaper to redo stuff. You know, they've got budgets or whatever. It's just a bit, it's questionable, isn't it? I mean, they're going to obviously have to find the plastic and the cardboard from somewhere to give us that repack wave, but it's just why those characters. That's right, the Battle Droid's the other one. I forgot what else was in that wave. That's a decent one for army building, but it's just bizarre, isn't it, really? There's so many other ones I would put on the list first above them.
I want to touch briefly on Boss Bounty and his.
Sorry, John. He's talking about ironing boards here. Jared Coyle.
Gerard. Hey, Gerard. Yeah. I do have a question for you. So when are you going to be on Boss Bounty's new live stream premiering next month? Focused on the vintage collection. I thought it was a great live stream announcement.
That was cool, man.
Has he reached out to you yet? That's what I want to know. Or is he put you on?
I knew nothing about it like everybody else. The first I heard of me.
So you're a B team celebrity. So you're a B team celebrity.
I didn't think I was famous enough because he was naming all these famous people, Victoria's Cantina, and like, you know, I don't think I could take it. If I was on a stream with Yak Face, I think I'd be like getting the jitters, you know, starstruck. But he did mention me, which was really nice actually last night. I was watching the stream and I thought, wow, it's nice to be considered. But maybe he thinks I'm too unorthodox. Will you have me on, Tim? I don't know. I'll try to behave.
well, if you're the B team celebrity, then I'm like an F team celebrity. Okay, so there we go. I might be on. Maybe he'll let me on. Maybe he'll let me on like in 2025. So.
But it'll be awesome because these people, you know, they know people at Hasbro and stuff. You know what I mean? So it's fantastic what he's doing. That whole Back TVC campaign. I recently did my own hashtag. Well, I thought it was my own, keep 375 alive, but I thought it had been touched, but it might have been. I've looked on Instagram or posts, and I think people have used it before. But but
I'm gonna start using it. I'm gonna start using it and giving you credit, man. Okay, yeah, all right. You know me, all right, Nick. You know me now. I grade everything. C-Moles asked you, have you ever considered getting anything graded? Have you ever considered it?
Yeah, well, you know, I learned something about grading the other day when Tim showed me the Nikto or whatever. I learned that obviously, because I'm very naive, I don't know anything about it, but that U stands for uncirculated, right? So
it does.
It was never circulated is a rarity. Wow.
So
that's just the 9.0.
Oh yeah. Uncirculated.
Wow.
Uncirculated. And
so he was telling me, and maybe you could tell me, was it a lack of foresight that people, you know, they didn't. So obviously you would have to send in the whole box, and they would assess if it had been opened since it had been in a factory, right? And that goes for the barge. If I wanted to get my Yak Face graded, I'd have to send the barge in, right? And then they'd have to take it out of the box. Crazy. And also, I asked Tim, you know, you've got whatever acrylics and stuff. I quite fancy getting an acrylic case, but am I right in believing that if you take something to be graded, they sort all that out for you, regardless of what it is you send in?
Yes, they do. They sort it all out for you. I look at some of the items in your collection, and I'm just drooling because it would cost me thousands to even come close to having all the different variant card backs you have, and it's really cool to kind of see how everyone collects. But it's good to know. It's good to know that I'm starting to get others into it, and Tim keeps finding new expensive TVCs. He just got he just mentioned in the chat that he just got the Mouse Droid and Salacious Crumb on those card backs. So I look forward to seeing those in an acrylic coffin soon, coming soon.
Absolutely, man. It's really good to know that people like you are getting vintage collection, because at the end of the day, I know it's modern and some people say, oh, I don't buy modern, but if there's anything in the modern line of figures to get that would interest somebody like yourself who's a vintage 80s collector, it's this same size card back, figures updated. Why not, man? Definitely. I just think it's great. So it's nice to see you doing it, man, as opposed to just getting the old stuff.
I got a question on that for you, Nick. With the recent kind of economic environment and everything else that's going on, I'm trying not to use the C word as it relates to the illness, because then YouTube has weird algorithms. But the vintage Star Wars market really blew up. The prices went nuts.
Yeah.
What has been your experience with maybe some of the older Vintage Collection releases? Have they likewise just gone nuts? It seems like they have with like Weekway and even Grievous,
Yeah.
some of these others that I want, but I look at the prices and I'm like, ugh.
We I can't even speak anymore, John. We briefly touched on this. Like the prime example for me is Cody, and like the example was the fact that I could have got an unpunched Cody for 50 or 60 pounds on eBay, and it was there for a good fortnight. Nobody had bought it, and I was about to go on holiday, and I thought, well, I've got a Cody, I won't get it. But now he and a fair few others have all rocketed. There's been some weird ones, like Kian Farlander, B-Wing pilot. For some reason, he is now really expensive. I couldn't sell him on eBay for love the money a while ago. In the end, I kept the spare one I had and opened him. So I've got two loose or whatever. But yeah, definitely the lockdown has affected everything. But the crazy thing is, a lot of the things I bought the other week, because I was talking about variants with Tim, I got like the Rebel Soldier, this guy here. A lot of these came from America, and these are 3-digit costs now. These are expensive. Like these are over 100.
That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah,
he was always expensive, but I just pulled the trigger like everybody else is now, I suppose, because I figured, well, I've saved a lot of money on getting some of this stuff so early that I just thought, what the hell? It's only the one card, and I'll look after it, and it's in really good condition. So I did it, but definitely they've gone up massively.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the approach I took with Ahsoka. I finally got an Ahsoka, and I'm like, why am I spending this much money on one? But at least it's done. It's one I don't have to think about anymore. You know what I mean?
How you don't mind me asking how you got Ahsoka unpunched? What did you get her for?
I know it was punched, but it's a Canadian card, and it did grade a 90, straight 90s. So it's a beautiful Canadian, and I paid a lot for it. I think I paid about $300 for it, US.
Wow, well, that's graded though, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, I graded it myself, but I mean, if you bought one already graded, there's an AFA 90, same grade, but AFA. That one sold for $616 in the US a couple of months ago. I mean, it's just gotten so insane. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that Nikto that Tim got as well. I keep talking about Tim here. He's like my like something going on. There's like my partner.
I know.
Acting partner. There's that Nikto, right? That he got graded or whatever. Insane that to think that obviously on eBay it's going for more. It's madness, isn't it? It's crazy.
Well, I want to give myself credit there because I found that for him. I did. I found that one for him. So
could you find me a Canadian Yoda, man? That's one thing missing from mine.
Me first. I want that one too.
Oh, you first. The one thing, two things I don't want are the Salacious Crumb and the mouse droid.
That's what he just got. That's what Tim just said that he just got those.
Oh, has he?
He just got those.
It's too expensive, and
it's crazy.
I don't know where I'd display them either. I can't put them on the wall with these. If they introduced a new line of small card backs, which would be quite good for BB-8, and you could have like little Dio, hello, Squeaky Will, him. That would be great, and then it might make me want to, buy them as well, or get if they re-release them or something. I don't know, but for now, I don't know I wouldn't know where to put them.
Well, all right, let's finish off with one more question, then I'll let you go. We've been going 46 minutes, believe it or not. I mean, I could talk to you for another 2 hours, but I try to keep mine fairly short so folks don't, lose their minds. But Lee, a buddy of mine, he's an amazing collector. He's a big bootleg collector, but I know that he's looking at Vintage Collection now because of our channels and Bosk and things like that.
Yeah.
He says, what is your favorite figure? What's your favorite item in your collection? And we'll kind of finish off with that one.
Okay, that's a really hard question. And also, Lee, if you do want to talk after the chat on social media, well, let's do it. If I can find you or whatever, you can find me. That's a really hard question. That really is hard. I don't know what to say. You asked him that as well, Timothy.
I did.
I really don't know what to say. It's really difficult, really hard. It's hard to do it, isn't it? It's like the classic album favorite song, isn't it? Or favorite album. Depends on what you're feeling or whatever. I could whittle it down.
It's like picking your favorite child. It's like, Nick, it's like trying to decide which one's your favorite child. You just can't do it. You can't do it.
Okay, well, I'll give you an answer only because it's fresh on my mind and it costs a fair bit. So it's got that value factor, and it also has a double good looking factor because I got that Grievous from America, unpunched, pristine condition. And I remember one of the first ever top 5 list videos I ever did for the vintage collection. I put Grievous on there, not just because it's a good card back. The figure is amazing inside, although it doesn't have peg holes, which is bad. But the figure is really, really good. It looks good in the packet and out. So I put my Grievous as like one of my favorites now, and that should hold its value. Maybe even go up.
Man. Well, I just did a Q&A, subscriber Q&A video Sunday, and I mentioned Grievous as the #1 VC figure within my budget that I really want. I don't have it yet, and I would love to get me a foil Grievous like the one you have. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
I'm really glad I got that one, because there was a couple I was looking at that were really battered and they were punched. Because I think he did get released punched. He was one of the earlier figures, but then they gave the reissue wave or whatever where they were unpunched. So I believe Boba Fett like that as well. See, a while ago he was going for about 100 on eBay, the unpunched version of the Empire Fett. He's up here somewhere. But now
it's gone down.
For crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to end here. I think I've taken enough of your precious time. But this has been so awesome. But hey, for those who are still watching, thank you all for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to both of our channels if you're not subscribers to our channels. We love doing these things, and I know I really appreciate you getting on here and kind of sharing your thoughts and kind of your collecting background. That's kind of the point of these videos, is just to for folks who maybe are not subscribers to your channel, but subscribers to mine and vice versa. It's a great way for folks to kind of learn about collectors, So
yeah, it's been great. Thank you for having me on, man. And there's the Vader, by the way, the dodgy one.
Oh yeah, that's what I want.
I don't know if you can see him all right. The really high brow, dodgy, really bad. So I don't know if you think that was worth something, or maybe
I don't know. There's so many people out there that collect those weird kind of factory error type things. I know I'm certainly one of them, but
is that class as a factory error then, that one?
I don't know. It's such a subtle thing that maybe not though. I don't know. I bet if you posted it in the Facebook group, somebody will overpay for it. It seems like somebody.
Yeah. All right.
All right, man. Well, I had a lot of fun. Nick, thank you again for joining me, man. It was a great time, and we look forward to being back soon.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. AFG, respect. Thanks for having me on, man. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks everyone for watching.
Well, thanks everyone.